Hello everyone. So this video is going to be the start of a new series that I've been planning for a really long time, and finally I'm starting it. So this series is going to be basically about slow stitching, and I'm not going to be specifically regular with my videos. I'm just going to do them as I want to. And share things with you. And the whole purpose of these videos, this series is called Quick Snippets with Roxy Creations. So I'm doing these in consultation with my sister, Rachel, from Roxy Creations, and I'm Roxy Creations by Sarah. If you're not familiar with us, we're two sisters. One lives in Italy and I live in Australia. We're from Australia, you can tell by the accent. And we do a series of projects called Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, where the Roxy's, coming from our last name, Roxbros. It was my nickname playing sports. We've named ourselves Roxy Creations, although a lot of people call us the Roxy Sisters now. And it also includes our mum, Juju. We call her Juju, who is also a wonderful slow stitcher. So there's been a lot of people lately posting. This first video is just an intro to what I'm going to be doing and just talking about slow stitching. I've noticed a lot of people lately have been doing videos on what is slow stitching, and if you look that up on YouTube, you'll find quite a few videos. Slow stitching has been around for a very long time. I'm not going to say I am an absolute expert, but we do consider ourselves slow stitchers. So these are all people who I feel are slow stitchers. Claire Wesley Smith has a couple of books, I think, two. I've definitely got two of hers. A lot of books made by Batsford are great ones with slow stitches. And this is a beautiful one called Slow Stitch, Mindful and Contemplative Textile Art. So for us, we consider slow stitching textile art. Okay, so it's where you would use a variety of textiles and fibers, threads. I almost think of it like a mixed media textile art piece. Mixed media as in mixed textiles and fibers. And really the slow stitching is an ancient art form that was done in both India and Japan, and possibly in other countries, but they're the two that I'm familiar with, where they essentially did this kind of stitching, this kind of running stitching. So I'm going to show you. I've got a little piece. Where is it? I did have a little piece of Indian Cantha quilt. Here we go. I've got a little piece. So these were Cantha quilts, which are layers of very thin fabric that they stitch together just using a running stitch. And that's slow stitching. Okay, so using the running stitch. That's Cantha, K-A-N-T-H-A. I refer to that all the time, but essentially it's just a running stitch. And then the Japanese made their beautiful Boro quilts where they layered different fabrics and did running stitch as well. And, you know, mended things by putting down a patch and doing running stitches. So to us, our definition of slow stitching is not just sitting there and doing an embroidery. Yes, that's stitching and it's slow, but in my mind, for something to be slow stitching, it's got to be like a textile artwork where you layer multiple different textiles and fibers and stitch. So if you want to, get some books. I'm going to show you some of these. I've shown some of these before. I'm not going to show them all, but just to give you an idea, there we go. There is a beautiful piece of slow stitching, layers of fabrics, and essentially stitching them all together so it's like one piece of fabric. So this is really going to give you an expertise version of what is slow stitching. It is slow. It's all hand stitching. In my mind, you would never do any machine stitching on a slow stitching piece. Like visible machine stitching, like you may machine stitch a zipper into a pouch that's slow stitch, but really I would only do hand stitching. So you can get a beautiful book like this which shows you some Lovely hand stitching. See, so like little collaged artworks. This is Mandy Patula. I'm going to show you her book. She is definitely one of our most favourite artists. These books are good because they often do have different artists in here. Here's Japanese Boro. Pieces of fabric stitched down with the running kind of stitch. Layers and layers of running stitch there. So, yeah, these books are good because they do show other people. So there are lots of famous slow stitchers or textile artists. So this is Mandy Patula, one of her books. I've got a couple of, I think two. Might be two, I think. So we really love her. So she has collaged different fabrics, a textile collage there, onto an old piece of quilt, and she's got stitching all over the place. So that's a wonderful example of slow stitching. Okay, so she'll talk about what it is, her inspiration. She uses a lot of old textiles, which is what we like to do as well. Like that, that's really gorgeous. And look at that lovely wool embroidery on, it looks like an old, like a potato sack or grain sack, feed sack. Yeah, so Mandy Patula, Mum actually has a couple of original like, look at that. Just gorgeous. So it can include different skills like applique. Okay, so it's a mix. Yeah, textile art is what I think of it as. So beautiful books, Mandy Patula's. Again, all these books feature other artists. Someone who does it a little bit differently, but I would still consider a slow stitcher, is Ali Ferguson. So her book has recently come out. I think it was last year it came out. Cloth Stories. Now, she's a lot neater, but you can see she's still collaging textiles and putting in different notions and different types of stitches. Her stitches are tiny and precise. Look at that blanket stitch there. Okay, that tiny, tiny, tiny little running stitch there. So Ali Ferguson, her book is a newer one, but gorgeous textile art pieces. Look, with vintage textiles. Love the collaging. Okay, so just, yep, gorgeous things. I love the way she does her mind maps. I learnt to do mind maps, did them a lot when I was at school. I do them all the time now. I've got a whole art book where I do mind maps for work. I'm a mind mapper. Yeah, but just beautiful little artworks there. So that is Ali Ferguson. So these are there. I'm just showing you some of my favorites. So there's more than this. I'm just going to show you. Now, someone who's a little bit more of a modern textile artist, and I would still consider her to be someone who does slow stitching, but in more of a modern way, is our good friend Fleur from New Zealand, Fleur Woods. This is her beautiful book, which came out last year. Lovely note from Fleur here. And she does very mixed things. Oh, look at that wall of inspiration. And I love these books because it's like proper paper. It's not the shiny stuff. And I love these books because the cover actually feels like fabric. Like it is fabric. I wish the pages weren't shiny. I wish they were the matte pages. I love the matte pages. But Fleur's book is amazing. She published it last year, I think early last year. And I think she's had multiple reruns of publishing. A lot of embroidery work, but let me just find an example. Under her embroidery is often different fabrics, and she'll use fabrics that she's dyed herself or painted herself, but she'll also use vintage fabrics. That is a tablecloth from her grandmother that her grandmother stitched. I'm pretty sure she's added to that. That's a tablecloth there. Fleur is a wonderful textile artist who, I mean, look at that. We did a class learning how to do that. That was so much fun. I've got another class with Fleur coming up this year. But, yeah, Fleur is a great friend of ours. We absolutely love her style. Sorry, let me go back to that one. Where was it? Just rows and rows and rows of running stitch with a lot of wools in there and thick cottons, it looks like. And it's just gorgeous. So that's like really like a Cat the quilt. So the other people that inspire me don't have books. but they are my mum and my sister, definitely. So I'm just going to show you quickly a little bit of Mum's work. So Mum made me this little, it's a pocket, like an envelope for Christmas. And she made it Christmassy because Christmas is my birthday, Christmas Day. And this fabric here is fabric that my sister's made and Mum's added to it. So you can see all the lovely cantha stitching and in different colours. And in some places she's added on extra fabrics. And then there's little bits of embroidery. Okay, so a bit of collaged textile there. So that's Mum. I also got this from Mum for my birthday. This lovely cushion. So again, using my sister's fabrics, and she's put another piece on there, and she's done quite a bit of, that's an extra piece of fabric there, the bird that she stitched down. She's embellished it, so that's a beautiful cushion I got for my birthday. So that's Mum, examples from Mum, and then I'll give you this example from Rach. So this is a textile art piece, a textile wall hanging. This was actually on a piece of her husband, Stefano, who is Italian, his grandparents' blanket, and that was the original trim. And she's done a textile art piece, like a sew stitch piece. And this was a class that we taught at the Green Door Studio in Robertson before Christmas. So beautiful thread painting with wool, different textiles all added in, and some of her fabrics there in the background, quite a few of her fabrics, and then other things like an old grain feed sack fabric there and there. One more person I wanted to show you. So Mum and Rach are in there, and then one more person I wanted to show you was Viv from Hen's Teeth. So this is Viv's card. Sorry, it's going to reflect with the light 'cause it's a bit shiny. So her name is Hens, as in hen, chicken. Hen's Teeth Art, and her name's Viv, and she's Hen's Teeth Art. .bigcartel.com. That's where you buy her pieces. Pretty much when her pieces go up, they sell pretty quickly. But I recently got one. I gave one to Mum for Christmas, and then I recently got one for myself. So she has collaged some beautiful vintage textiles, even little pieces. Like, look at tiny little pieces. There's a tiny piece there with some very delicate stitching. Single strand of stitching there. And look at those little seed stitches. An old trim. She's got a little saying, lovely day. And then her signature are these gorgeous birds, blackbirds that she paints. So that will need to be framed, but that is a little gift I purchased recently. So that is an explanation of slow stitch. So what else will come in this series? So let me have a think what I'm going to do. So this was my intro to what I'm doing and to slow stitching. I'm going to do another project showing you some samples of things that I've done, which will probably be my next video. I'm going to talk to you about the basics of slow stitching. So right at the beginning of volume 1, what are we, like 3 years ago, we talked about our favorite stitches and did some sample stitches. I'm going to go through them in a separate video so you don't have to go and search for that basic information. And I'll also link you to another person who's wonderful at teaching different stitches, and if you want to get more advanced in your stitching with more elaborate embroidery stitches, then you can learn from her. So yes, we do put embroidery stitches onto our slow stitch pieces. I'm going to talk to you about different ways of attaching fabrics to pieces. Okay, so my sister's here has to attach the fabrics in different ways. Most of them are cantha down. We call that cantha stitching. You've got overcast stitching there. I'm going to show you invisible stitch, etc. Again, these are going to be the basics that we use in our projects, so that they're standalone videos of about 10 to 15 minutes in length, so you can quickly go and see it, or if you haven't done one of our projects before, or if you're new to slow stitching, it will help. I'm going to, there's quite a few things, I've got a list, it's about 15 videos and now I can't even think. I'm going to do some small projects, scrap busting projects. I'm going to do a very basic project, so if you're brand new to slow stitching you can follow along. So I know there's more than that, I just can't think of it right now. I'll give you samples of different pieces, etc. So this is video number 1 in the series. I will create a playlist, not a playlist, sorry. Can't speak today. A playlist, and it's quick snippets with Roxy Creations. So they'll come out randomly. I'm not regular. I think people who follow me know that, but they will come out randomly, and you might get 2 1 week, and then you might not get 1 for 3 weeks. So let's just see how we go. All right, so thank you for watching the first installment of Quick Snippets with Roxy Creations. With both my sister and I'm doing this on behalf of both of us, and I will see you again soon for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.